morning again, colleagues. The name is Thulani Ndlovu. I am the chairperson of the legislature in the Portfolio Committee of Infrastructure Development and Property Management. I am not alone. Next to me is the chair of chairs, Member Adams, who is the member of this committee. Next to him is Member Rasilingwane, a member of the committee. Next to her is Member Diache, a member of the committee. And on my left is Member Masilela, a member of the committee. And next to her is Member Poho, a member of the committee. Other members would have sent apologies, but I think about 3 members are not here. We don't come alone. We have Kaya, we have Kinelwe, you will see them, they are working, they are moving around. We have Emma, we have Teve, who will be taking you pictures. I don't know who else is here. We have Kanyiso as well. I'm hoping others will also be here. And that is our support staff. The member who has just came in is Member Mure, also a member of the committee. So the guys are our support staff, and together, and there's Ntabi Singh, our researcher. So we form what we call the Portfolio Committee on Infrastructure Development and Property Management. And we are here today to do some work and have some engagements with the community. But let me welcome the community leaders, the stakeholders that are here. Without you, this feedback session would not be relevant. But before we start our meeting, because we are not in the legislature, we are outside our precinct, we must then normally do what we call the declaration of the venue. So in doing that, I, Thulani Ndlovu, the chairperson on Infrastructure Development and Property Management Portfolio Committee in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, hereby declares the Lenasia South Civic Center as the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature for 31st October 2025. This declaration is made in accordance with Rule 56, subsection 1 and subsection 2 of the standing rules of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. And please be advised that the standing rules of the legislature will apply and govern all engagements throughout the day. I thank you. So it means then moving forward, we are going to facilitate our engagement like we are in the building of the legislature in Helen Joseph. We have just declared this venue for that purpose. As I said, that we are here as part of our stakeholder engagement feedback to get the annual report of the Department of Infrastructure Development and Property Management and its new entity, the Gauteng Infrastructure Finance Agency. And having said that, colleagues, I'm going to request Kaya to give us apologies if we have any.
Good morning and thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, we do have 3 apologies this morning. The first and the second apology are from Honorable Member Mhlagaza Manamela as well as Member Mahlape, who are currently out of the country on GPO official business. And then Chair, the third apology is from the HOD, Mr. Rufus Ramutla, who is currently unable to attend the meeting as he is required to participate in the DIT MTech 1 meeting for the 2026 midterm MTEF, which is scheduled for the same time. However, he has delegated Mr. Magwena Selepe, the Director for Education and STARS, to lead the departmental delegation. Oh, and then, Chair, we have been informed that the MEC is just running late, but he is on the way. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Kaya, for that. Members, can we accept the apologies?
Accepted, Chair.
Thank you very much. We are now going to the confirmation of agenda. Our agenda for today is opening and welcome, which we have done. Apologies, which we have also done. Confirmation of the agenda. Then we are going to get the presentation by the Department of Infrastructure and the Gauteng Infrastructure Finance Agency. And immediately after that, we are going to have engagements where stakeholders and ourselves will be engaging the department. And after that, we are going to get a presentation by the department to report on projects that are in the area where we are visiting. So we'll be dealing with Nkululeko Yesizwe Primary School and Lenesia Secondary School. And we'll have a short briefing of questions and answers. And immediately after that, the department is then going to take us through the presentation on the progress in Athlone Girls High, in Randfontein Community Health Center, and Johannesburg Forensic Pathology. And after that, we are going to take bills, both from the NCOP and the provincial bills, and we are going to take petitions and take correspondence, and then we are going to have the date of our next meeting and closure. Members, can we adopt our agenda if there are no issues to be added?
I move to adopt, Chair.
Thank you, Member Diakhe. Can I get a second?
Chair, I second.
Thank you very much, Member Masilela. Without further ado, I'm not sure who is leading the department. I heard that the MEC is coming, is on the way. So if we can be guided and that person can come to the front so that they are able to can take us through presentations. Thank you very much. So colleagues, what I'll request is that you please take your notes, because once the department is done with the presentation, we are going to take the GIFA. GIFA is the entity of the department called Gauteng Infrastructure Financing Agency, and we'll start engagements immediately after that GIFA presentation. So it's important that you take your notes, so that when the time comes, we are all ready. Thank you very much. Over to you. Yeah, no, they will start by responding to that. They will start by responding to that. That's just one part. Yeah, no, they'll start by responding to that. There's just one part that is critical that I might have forgotten. We have these gadgets. These gadgets are used for interpretation, so that if you need one, you can raise your hand. Our team will come to you and give you the gadget. How does this gadget work? If you want to listen in English, you will use channel 1. It has channels. If you want to use isiZulu or isiXhosa, you will use channel 2. If you want to use Sotho or Setswana, you will use channel 3. And if you want to listen in Setsonga or Chivenda, you will use channel 4. And if you want to listen in Afrikaans, you will use channel 5. So please raise your hand for those of you who would want interpretation. Our team will come to you, and immediately when we are done, the gadgets must come back because they don't work anywhere else beside here. So we please request that they come back after our engagement. Thank you very much, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and
Good morning to you. Good morning to members of the Portfolio Committee, and then good morning to the community of Lenasia South. Chair, we are here to make a reflection on the annual report of the 24-25 financial year, which is the annual report currently audited and published. It's already published and is available in the departmental intranet for anyone to basically access there. So in terms of the structure of the report, so we would then reflect on the purpose and the introduction there. And in the structure of the annual report, it is divided with a subsection. So we'll also make a reflection on the financial, non-financial performance information that would then reflect on the planned performance target, how we have gone through against what we have said, what we have achieved, what we have not achieved. And then we'll also deal with the section that is called the annual financial statement that will then reflect on the financial performance information. Then in that, there's a section that deals with the governance and accountability. So we'll also talk to that. And the other section of the annual report deals with human resource oversight that then reflect on the Chair, we unfortunately could not prepare the hard copies for distribution, but what we have done, we have given the soft copy, so we're thinking that it can be distributed, but we unfortunately could not able to make the hard copies on our office. I'm not sure from the administrator side in the legislature whether they did manage to make it, but from our office we couldn't, and we apologize for that. Thank you very much. So, Chair, as I was explaining that this is basically the outline of the annual report in terms of the various sections thereof, but also important to indicate that when we deal with the annual report, we'll reflect on particularly on the section B that then deals with performance information. We'll reflect on the performance target that were not achieved and those that were achieved. Members would also know that on quarter-to-quarter basis, when we reflect on the performance, we also reflect against the three matrix, which is achieved, not achieved, as well as those that are in progress, which are categorized into amber. But in the annual report, because it then deals with the conclusive report, it will then be either you have achieved or not achieved. So that will be the pattern. So if we then start with the non-financial, we can then report that for the 24-25 APP targets, we basically had a set planned target of 46 all in all. And of those targets, we managed to complete 32 of those, which are currently performance of service providers, both construction and financial expenditure performance. This capability enables the department to generate evidence and data to implement consequence management and to avoid costly litigation costs in the future. Question 4 says that the department to provide the committee with updates, firstly on Johannesburg forensic pathology, second on Women's Living Monument, third on Bergesdal integrated facilities, fourth on WK Duplessis, and the fifth on the Simunye secondary, as well as the last on Simpato secondary. With regard to the Johannesburg forensic pathology, so Chair, the current project status is at 94% completion, and the project was earmarked for the completion date of 27 October 2025. However, due to additional fire requirements pointed out by the City of Joburg and HVAC remedial works, the project has missed the deadline, and the team is revising the program with the new completion date. The project is also experiencing challenges of the insufficient budget and delays on the creation of purchase orders. At the beginning of the financial year, only 63 million was allocated for the project based on the projected cash flows. Department of Health and Treasury are in the process of finalizing the budget adjustment, and it will be published on the second week of November 2025 to ensure budget availability and that the payment issues are being addressed. The department has also submitted SDPs and the building plans to City of Joburg. However, there are delays on the approvals of the building plans because of the delays, and because of these delays on the approval of traffic impact assessment study by Joburg Road Agency, COGTA has now been requested to intervene. With regard to the Women's Living Heritage Monument Project Phase 5, the construction started on 19 August 2025 and is expected to be completed on 20 February 2026. Construction has progressed to 44%, which consists of a basement ventilation at 99%, the booster pump relocation at 99%, the UPS room ventilation and ceiling at 70%. The budget confirmation remains a challenge and continues to delay the relocation of the mini substation. It is, however, anticipated that the budget will be confirmed after the conclusion of the mid-term adjustment process, which is underway, and the submission of document to obtain compliance certificate for the building will be submitted after the completion of the current scope. The department continues to maintain contact with the City of Tshwane and the State Theatre to facilitate the execution of tasks that will enable the building to obtain the occupation certificate. With regard to the Beggersdal Social Integrated Facility, construction is underway and the progress is now estimated at 98%, and the anticipated completion is on the 27th November 2025. The current progress is breakdown as follows. The administration building is at 96%, the adult daycare center at 90%, the early childhood development center at 80%, the guardhouse is at 95%, the refuse yard at 100%, and the external works is at 90%. And the progress has been negatively affected by the delays in the payment of due and payable contractor invoice. Issues of payment were finally resolved, and the new issue that continues to have an impact on the completion of the project relates to the pending service connection by Eskom. Testing and installation depends on power supply, and Eskom committed to conclude the connection in January 2026. The matter has since been escalated, and we anticipate that the connection would be undertaken earlier in the initial January 2026 date. With the anticipated completion on the Beggersdal is 27 November 2025, and likelihood be sectional completion due to bulk power connection that is outstanding. The bulk power connection will impact installation of distribution cables, the pump, kitchen equipment, and overall commissioning. The municipalities has communicated inability to capacity limitation, providing required 100 millimeter diameter water connection due to water shortages, and indicated that they will provide 50 millimeter, and the department has since requested a meeting with municipality as this has design change implication. These activities have to be delayed due to high risk of theft on site, and the land transfer is at advanced stage with a drafted deeds on donation issued by municipalities being signed. The department has engaged the municipality on the occupancy. With regard to Simunye Secondary, the construction of the project currently is standing at 74% completion. All buildings have been roofed, and the installation of finishes has commenced, except for the hall. Notwithstanding this progress, a significant portion of the external works and the hall remain behind the scheduled program. The contractor has submitted the formal commitment letter to the department, affirming that all classroom ablution facilities and administration block will be completed by 31st October 2025. With the remaining works, including site works, sports field, and nutrition hall, were scheduled for completion by December 2025. However, current registered progress indicate that the original timelines will not be met. Revised completion dates for the classroom are now indicated as 28 November 2025. In response to this ongoing and intermittent performance lapses, the department has applied contractual measures, including issuing formal notices, and is evaluating the potential implication thereof. The matter is presently under true consideration and review by the Infrastructure Governance Lab to determine appropriate further action. With regard to WK Duplessis LSEN, the overall project currently stands at 98%. The implementation has unfolded in 4 sequential phases. The phase 1 involved decanting and establishing temporary classroom, has been successfully concluded and is now operational. Phase 2, comprising the hostels, nutrition center, and the hall, has also been completed and is in active use. Phase 3, which is covering the construction of 40 classroom blocks, the administration block, the grade R facility, laboratory, therapy rooms, the guardhouse, refuse yard, internal roads, and the parking areas, is ongoing and has reached 94% completion. This phase is scheduled to finalization and the issuance of occupancy certificate by the 14 November 2025. Phase 4, which includes the sports field and 2 combination courts, has experienced delays attributable to the independent project activities. Construction activities for this phase can only commence once the school has transitioned to phase 3, and temporary mobile units have been removed. Following consultation with the school management, the decanting process is now planned to occur after examination, with phase 4 scheduled to commence on 4 December 2025 and conclude by 4 February 2026. This plan remains under discussion and is subject to relevant administrative approval process. The school is impacted by municipal sewer passing through the eastern border of the site with blocks intermittently. When blocked, it poses a health risk, and as it blocks frequently, and as such, the MEC has been requested to escalate this matter to the executive mayor for attention. With regard to the Simpato Secondary School, this project reflects an overall completion progress at 94%, showing modest improvement since the mid-October 25, and the contractor is Yahweh 1 Construction, and the project is currently engaged in the final finishes across Block A, H, E. Development. The project remains behind the approved recovery program, with several key classroom blocks that were scheduled for completion by end of September 25 is still unfinished. The contractor letter of commitment dated 20 August 2025, pledging to complete all outstanding works and achieve final completion by 15 December 2025. However, progress has been inconsistent with intermittent deadlines in strike rate. The contractor has been directed to prioritize completion of learning areas, including the administration blocks and all classrooms ahead of the builder's break to ensure their accessibility. Given this performance shortfall, contractual notices are being issued, and where necessary full contractual remedial action will be enforced to address the situation. Question 5 says the department reported that work has been done and currently more work is underway at Lenasia Secondary School. However, oversight found that the work has been done at the school is administered by the school. Could the department clarify? The Lenasia Secondary School project reached practical completion on 22 November 2024, with final completion achieved on 24 February 2025. And currently there are no works being carried out by the department or DID contractors on site. The project was part of the Occupational Health Safety Structural Project with a limited and focused scope of works. The approved DID scope of on the project was limited to the following one: repairs to the expansion joints and structural cracks which were removed, and the new joint sealant was installed. Second, the sagging ceilings were replaced. Third, the identified roof leaks were repaired and painted. Fourth, identified trees were removed as the routes were uplifting, paving, and concreted areas. And then the laying of new concrete channels were installed, the servicing of sanitary fittings, the waterproofing of covered walkways, and replacement of lighting and walkways, and some identified classrooms were replaced. GDE has been informed for the additional works that needed to be carried out to ensure longevity of repairs. For example, the slabs on the first floor were flushed and the new screening was required to ensure that water runs off. This was not part of the DID scope of works, and it is likely that the school and the GDE might have resolved to carry out such works post the DID completion of the scope. Question 6 says that GIFA should further appraise the committee with reason as to why the procurement process of TVR to stakeholder engagement was prolonged and what the entity means when it reports the procurement option were changed. The procurement process of Krugersdorp Game Reserve project was prolonged because of the personal changes that was involved in this project at Mogale City. The new personnel, which is the project steering committee members, had to be briefed in detail first, and to fully understand the project and its key and its key issues. Furthermore, they had to address all the National Treasury views and recommendations on supply chain management issues before TVR2, which is approval could be issued. The AIDC solar project was initiated with a PPP as a preferred procurement option. However, the feasibility study recommended two optimal procurement options, that is a rooftop lease or the transversal procurement. And the last question, Chair, says the department to be appraised of the feasibility study findings and the business case for the state-owned entities. So the committee will be duly appraised once the business case for the state-owned bank and the state-owned pharmaceutical company have been presented at ESCO. That then brings to an end. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much for that. We are going to take GIFA, but let me take this opportunity and welcome MEC Mamabulo, who joined us earlier. I just didn't stop the presentation. You are welcome, MEC. You have a chair here in front. So you are welcome to come in front. Thank you. We are now taking the infrastructure finance agent.
Thank you, Chairperson, members of the committee, good morning. MEC, colleagues, and the community. Report of the Gauteng Infrastructure Financing Agency. My presentation will be covering those 11 key areas that are in our annual report, and I will go slide by slide to take you through each of those key issues in the annual report for 2024-25. I will start with the introduction of our entity, which is Gauteng Infrastructure Financing Agency. As an introduction, it would help those who are not au fait with our entity. Our entity is a government component established in terms of Section 75D of the Public Service Act of 1994. And it was proclaimed by the President in 2014, and its administration on operations were promulgated by the Premier in July 2015. Basically, what does that mean? It is that as a government component, GIFA is a ring-fenced specialized function of the department, and in this case, it is the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure Development. Our mandate is derived from the notice that was promulgated by the Premier in 2025. The list that is in there, it is not exhaustive. However, it captures the essence of the mandate of this entity, which is basically to institutionalize alternative funding models for our infrastructure projects, but also it assists the provincial government to come up with innovative financing solutions for strategic infrastructure projects. Then again, it mandates us to establish a project preparation facility which assists us to finance the preparation of our infrastructure projects into high quality, viable projects that would be ready to be taken to the market for funding. Then lastly, this entity assists provincial government to leverage private sector funding for those projects that are not funded through the budget of the province. So that captures the essence of what we do and the mandate that we have as GIFA. Now, without wasting any time, let me take you through the overview of our audit outcomes that was presented by the Auditor General for our 2024-2025 annual report. The AG determined that our financial statements for that financial year were presented fairly in all material aspects in accordance with general recognized accounting practices, that is GREP, and also in terms of the requirements of the Public Finance Management Act of 1999. Now, in terms of the report on the annual performance report by the AG determined that the reported performance information was properly presented. The performance was consistent with the approved performance in the planning documents, that is our APP, this is annual performance plan, and also the indicators and related targets were measurable and relevant. Now, in conclusion, the Auditor General determined that our annual report performance information was useful and reliable as reported against predetermined objectives for the selected material performance indicators. Therefore, there were no material findings on the reported performance indicators. Now, at the end of the day, it means GIFA received a clean audit from the Auditor General for 2024-25. And I must emphasize that this has been the overall outcome of our annual reports for at least the past 5 years or more. So we've been receiving clean audit reports from the Auditor General. Now, if I may take you to the highlights of our 2025 financial performance, we also have 3 programs, that is Program 1, Administration, and Program 2, Project Development and Compliance, and Program 3 is Structured Finance. Now, our final appropriated budget was 65.4 million, which we had to work with. And in terms of our actual spending of that budget at the end of the financial year, we spent 64.146 million. Then the slide there in terms of the third column, it shows us how we spent our budget per program. On Program 2, 13.2 million, Program 3, 6.3 million. Then I will take you through our expenditure in terms of economic class whereby our current payments were 61.5 million, which means that our compensation of employees is 47.1 million, 686,000. That takes us to a total expenditure of 64.1 million. Now, if you look at the far side, you can see our per economic classification as per your compensation of employees, the goods and services, and capital assets. So our under expenditure overall. Then this pie chart, it shows us how our expenditure per program was, thus indicating that program 1 enjoyed the largest share of our expenditure, which is 67%, followed by program 2, which is 24% of the expenditure, and program 3 is 9% of our expenditure in 2024-25. Now, in terms of conclusion around our financial submissions to the AG, I have indicated that we had a budget of 65.98% of that budget, which means we had only 2% of under expenditure. The Auditor General found that there was no unauthorized or irregular expenditure or even fruitless and wasteful expenditure that was identified within our financial statement. So hence we received a clean audit from the AG. Now looking at our human resources performance, those are the numbers that we have. We have a total staff of 48, and we only have 4 posts that are vacant at the end of the financial year. And we have 5 interns, and we managed to ensure that all the requirements according to the policies and legislation guiding human resources management within GIFA, we comply to, particularly in terms of human resources strategy and staff development, and also the performance management of all our staff from senior managers to level 1 to 12. We complied fully with the requirements of the legislation according to HR legislation. Now looking at our institutional performance per program, this is the performance against what has been planned in our APP for 2024-2025. We had a total planned targets of 21, and we achieved 19 of those targets, and we had 2 deviations that we couldn't meet in that financial year, thus giving us a total performance of 90%. Now, this has been consistent with the way we've been performing in the previous financial year, where we've been performing not below 90%. So we've been consistent in performing according to our planned targets, around 90% or so. Then in terms of our performance per program, program 1, we planned 13 targets, we achieved 13, that is 100%. Program 2, we planned 5, we achieved 4. Then program 3, we planned 3 and achieved 2, which respectively gives us 83% and 67% respectively for those 2 programs, which are our core programs of the entity. Now, when you look into our APP document, you'll see all the targets that have been achieved out of our APP. But I think that it is quite critical for me to take you through the deviations where we didn't perform to achieve those targets. And I will start with program, it is program 2, pardon our typo error, it's not program 1, it's program 2. project development and compliance. We had planned 3 projects to be released to the market. We deviated that performance, whereby we only achieved 1 in terms of releasing a project to the market. That is the Gauteng IDZ OSHA project. That is the at the OR Tambo International Airport Special Economic Zone. We managed to release that project to the market. The reason why we deviated from the other 2 projects that we couldn't release them to the market. The first one is the Krugersdorp Game Reserve. We had a protracted process there of preparing the documents for releasing that project to the market. As a result, it delayed us to get approval from National Treasury. Then we also had AIDC Solar, whereby we were supposed to release this project to the market. However, because there were changes in the procurement options, those changes delayed us to release this project to the market. These 2 reasons were provided into detail by my colleague when he was responding to the portfolio committee questions. Then the second deviation is from program 3, that is structured finance, whereby we were supposed to conclude 3 projects, financial close. We didn't conclude financial close for 3 projects. However, in terms of our deviation, we achieved 1 project financial close, which is at those Merafong Solar Farm Cluster. However, with that project, we achieved a commercial close, not a financial close. Then the other one is the solar rooftop solar PV. We managed to complete all the documentation related to financial close, and we submitted the TA3 application to the Department of Health and the Department of Infrastructure Development, who were supposed to have concluded the signing of those application documentation and submit to National Treasury for financial close. The reason why we deviated on Merafong is that GIFA can only push the project up to commercial close. Then we hand over the project for financial close to the independent power producers to conclude financial close. Then with the rooftop solar PV, there were delays from the 2 departments, that is Health and Infrastructure Development, to sign off by the end of the financial year and submit to National Treasury for financial close. Now, if I may take the committee through our project progress report as at the end of March 2025, you can see that a slide there providing us with the different stages that we normally take our projects through when we develop our projects to become bankable. We have got 6 stages of project development life cycle, starting from initiation stage to implementation stage. Now, the summary, therefore, for our performance in 2025, 24, 26 for each project is that we were able to move all our projects from initiation stage to feasibility stage. Therefore, which is a good progress in a sense that all new projects were transformed to feasibility stage. And we had 7 projects that are in the feasibility stage. And we had 2 projects that are in the market release stage, 1 project in the procurement stage, and 6 projects in commercial or financial close. This is where we are aiming to bring our projects to when they come to GIFA, to commercial close or financial close. And we had a very progressive year whereby we had a total of 6 projects in financial close. Then we were able to ensure that 4 of our projects are completed in terms of financial close and they are in implementation. So construction happened in jewelry manufacturing precinct. That project is now operational and it has been completed. The Western Mega Park project, that project has now been handed over to the private developers for construction of that Mega Park project. The Gauteng Schools program, we managed to push that project to construction, whereby currently we have schools across Gauteng that are being constructed. The same as the Innovation Hub, Enterprise Building 3, it is currently in construction. Chair, the subsequent slides from slide number 16 to slide number 24 provide the key achievements and the highlights of each project. I would like the committee to note those key highlights by the end of 2024-25. However, before I conclude and close, I would like to make note of the key challenges that we normally experience when we are dealing with our projects. One of the key challenges that we experience, and these are generic problems, is the prolonged contract and agreement negotiations once we have transferred the project to commercial and financial close. This is not an easy process. It has got its own dynamics, it has got its own key issues whereby there are contractual negotiations, which is not a quick project. It is normally a protracted project because of issues relating to value for money as well as the appropriate risk transfer between government. Also normally experience delayed decision-making by stakeholders who are involved in the project, as well as delayed approvals by approving authorities, especially have those processes, especially in municipalities where council processes are responsible for it becomes out of the control of GIFA to push those approvals the way we want. But sometimes we do experience unresponsive bids to the make sure that we put mitigating actions to those problems that we normally experience with our projects. And those challenges, we mitigate them by strengthening our service level agreements, our memorandum of agreements, and our memorandum of understanding. We also establish good principles and non-negotiables when we come to ensuring that MOUs and agreements. But again, we strengthen our market sounding and our market testing, particularly where we experience those that we can foresee the market not responding to our projects being put to the market. We also try to strengthen governance around our projectical championships so that they can help us to carry our projects through that value chain of different stages of the projects. MOUs and MOAs always help us to foolproof GIFA against changes, especially where there are changes with accounting officers, because that tends to delay the projects or that tends to give us challenges to get decisions from project owners. We also try to strengthen communications as well as stakeholder relations so that we can be able to ensure that we identify red flags in time and intervene to mitigate the challenges that we are experiencing with our projects. Chair, with regard to the responses to the questions, my colleague from DID has already dealt with 2 questions for GIFA, and I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to present to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, GIFA, for that presentation. Colleagues, we have taken 2 presentations, and we are now going to go to that session. And before we go to that session, I must just explain something so that the stakeholders are aware. So you would have heard the department was responding to questions. So sometimes you might ask yourself, where are the questions coming from? So just to brief the stakeholders on the process. The process of the annual report, or most reports by the department, what we do as the committee, we do our own analysis guided by our researcher. And when we do our own analysis, we then send questions to the department so that they can respond. So the responses that were being made by the department emanates from those questions that the committee would have sent to the department seeking clarity. I thought I must explain that and hand over to the chair of chairs who will be handling the second session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair of Infrastructure Development. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to honorable members. Thank you for the two presentations that was presented by GDID and also by GIFA. Thank you so much. I am going to handle the questions as follows. This is block 1. Maybe I should stand. This would be block 1, and this is block 2. So I will take 10 questions from this side and 10 questions from this side. The questions that I would request and ask that will last about for 2 to 3 minutes from each participant. I will then ask the relevant departments or entities to jot and note down the questions as you will answer after questions has been asked. Is that okay, everybody? Thank you so much. Block 1, if you want to ask a question or make a contribution or make a comment or give an offering, you are welcome. On this side, please, anybody on this side? Remember, the chair has already said that the committee has asked questions and has been responded to. If those questions has been dealt with, let us not rehash the same questions that has been dealt with. On this side, block 1, anybody want to ask a question? Okay, block 2, anybody wants to ask a question? Number 1, yeah, I knew you were going to ask the question. I could see it on your face. Number 1, number 2, number 3 with the cap. Okay, let's go number 1. Thank you. Just give us your name and then your question, please, sir. Thank you so much.
No, for sure. Thank you. Greetings. Sanibona nonke. Igama uSandile Ngcobo from Region D, Greater Johannesburg. No, thank you for the presentation. I think I need to start firstly by constructively criticizing the manner in which the presentations were done. The reason why you're seeing a number of people not raising their hands is because they didn't grasp much of what was presented. The reason for that is that we are engaging stakeholders here. The nature of the presentations was simply too technical. We're supposed to narrow them down to the level of our understanding. That is number 1. And then secondly, to critique the fact that you did not produce hard copies so that even when we don't catch on, we're able to note what we want to ask. I have a few questions here. The first one is that can the portfolio committee push the department to make publicly known, number 1, the number of properties that are owned by the Department of Infrastructure, commercial and residential? And number 2, the portfolio committee should push the Department of Infrastructure Development in Gauteng to act very fast in a situation whereby we have public infrastructure, such as schools, that are decommissioned. The longer they take time to hand these schools over to members of the public to utilize them as skills centers, housing NPOs, etc., they become infested by criminals. If you go to Soweto, you find places like homemakers, which have turned into something else that we don't understand, because the Department of Infrastructure There's too much bureaucracy for those who apply, who are from those communities who want to use those properties. And then furthermore, we're told that they even met their target on procurement spent on military veterans. We'd love to know why. Who are sons and daughters of those military veterans. We know that they are there, living in poverty. They exist, so we want to know why, like honestly. The Gauteng provincial government used to have a program called TISH, Township Informal Settlements and Hostels. We'd love to know, we didn't hear anything about infrastructure developments, particularly concerning informal settlements and hostels. And if there was, maybe we didn't catch it, but we'd love to know as to what are the programs or projects to upgrade hostels. We'll also love to know what is the provincial government's intervention on hijacked buildings and other infrastructure that is deteriorating within the three major CBDs of Gauteng. Tshwane, and then you have Ekurhuleni, but Johannesburg is the most affected. And then from the financial agency, the Gauteng Infrastructure Financial, I think it's financing agency, what is it called? GIFA, yes. I would love to know what programs are there in terms of financing of trade and industrial infrastructure that is designed for commerce and trade. And also, what is their investment with regards to digital infrastructure, especially in schools, to make sure that each and every school there is digital infrastructure in order to create a digital learning environment. We're calling that it should be universal. Each and every school, starting from primary, as long as it's a public school, must have Wi-Fi, must have digital infrastructure. How far is that department with that? And then the last one is a comment. Given the cost of living, the 3,500 rand stipend for EPWP is too low. It's too low. If you could kindly take that to 4,500 at least. Thank you. Go on, Funa 5.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Number 2 was at the back there, right at the back. Thank you so much. Kaya, at the back. No, number 2. And then number 3 was where? That's number 3. Those are those. I'm coming. You didn't raise. I will give you another chance. Let me handle with these 3, please. Thank you, sir. It's not working, Kaya.
But these two first. First the one at the back.
Sorry, number 2 must talk at the back. You are 3. Sir, you are 3, that's 2. Go ahead, number 2.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. My name is Busiso Kumalo. I'm from West Rand, in particular in Western area. I would like to ask GTID. I heard a presentation about Simunye Secondary School. I'm very much disappointed about that school because it's us as the stakeholders who were facilitating for the department to get a land. When it comes to implementation, the department just left us out. The reason being known by them. We don't know. And again, let me ask the portfolio committee. That school is Simunye Secondary School. It's been 2.5 years now. Those kids who are at the school right now, as we are speaking, they are learning in the containers and so forth. Just imagine a container when it's cold. Just imagine a container when it's hot. So, comrades, I don't have to say, but one day the history will judge you because you are failing us a lot. More especially when it comes to tenders. Comrades, we cannot assist the department to find the land. On the other hand, we were having the minds who wanted to put some hands on building of that school. But GTIT, they denied East. They denied the assistant from the mines. We were sitting in a structure called a round table. Round table is whereby stakeholders, mining houses, even the municipality, we are sitting on that table to discuss about the same project. But even now, department, nasixosha nathi isikolo nizosakha, but even now we are failing. It can't be correct ukuthi isikolo singakhiwa 2.5 years. It can't be correct, comrade. And ezinye izingane zingena kuma multiracial schools. Ezethu zingena kuma government school. Your schools, lezi nizidileyayo nina. I'm not happy, comrade. I'm not happy. All of you there nizilethanga lapho niqeshwe sithi sanivotela sathi hlala napho. Sithi yithi abelungu bethu kahle kahle. Thina singabelungu benu niholiswa sithi make us happy so that sizo determine ukuthi siyanibuyisela noma sinibuyiseli na. Thank you very much, Chairperson of the session. I submit.
Thank you, sir. Number 3.
Sanibonani, thanks for the opportunity nami ukuthi ngiveze lokho ngizwe ngathi angikunderstand. Ngegama ngukhulu wakamloyi ngiphuma la eRegion D. My concern is based first in the Department of Infrastructure Development. I don't think amanani ukuthi forensic pathology is 94% finished. It's not. Definitely, we know ukuthi there are challenges there. And angeke ngithi nikhuluma amanga. It's just that you are protecting something which you don't know. Pathology project, mina mangibheka ngalesikhathi ngicalculate nje, is about 63% finish. There's a lot of things that's outstanding there. And ihleli ibulawa amanzi. Ngicela nisinikeze ama figures are right. That's the first thing. The second thing, masiya eBhekesdala, nithe is 98% finished. It's like it's almost a one step to be finished. But mina calculator la is about 73.2% finished. It means somebody lapha who explode nje ama figures with ayiphezulu. That's the DID part. Ugifa uthi une clean audit. Ngiyamuza uthi ku budget yakhe 65.47 million usebenzise 98%. Still even that figure mina I don't think is right. Ngicela nisinikeze ama figure are right. Ninama auditors. We've got Auditor General. I don't think Auditor General can approve 98% at the clean audit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I saw 2 hands this side. Number 1 with the glasses, sir. You are number 4 and number 5. And number 6 right at the back with the yellow cap. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Manbulisa, Chairperson and the Chair of Chairs, even all the stakeholders present. Yeah, I'm very happy. Today we meet in this cut and paste session. Because I call it cut and paste session, it's a repetition of one thing. And if we can look at the validity of it, my 2 colleagues have already lamented on that. Ayikho yonke lento eshoyo apha. And hence I say I'm happy. Then nakuni iyaniphoxa. It seems as if you are just window dressers, because you're supposed to go back and see the validity and the legitimacy of this statement which they are talking about. How true is this which is being here? Someone asked, need a hard copy of this. Take that of last year and the last of last year. It's a repetition of one thing. Mandize apha yokuqala, my first question, collection of revenue and rates. Dihlanganisa ne colleague ayiphendulileyo pha. Ethetha ngani nge-hijacked buildings. If ever revenue is being collected correctly, those hijacked buildings, amanzi acalculated ngubani. We've got the bills as amanzi. I'm from here at Ward 6, Region G. We don't have meters. But can you believe that when a person said you are owing 2,000 rands per month is being deducted from your salary? 2.5 deducted without your consent. Then ndibuya lemva kukho into ethethwe ngulo bhuti apha ndifuna eya law and what. Itheni ndizofuna ukuva because we've got a Consumer Protection Act. Ndingadonselwa imali 2.5 without my consent. Department of Johannesburg Water ne Human Settlement. Hey, inkinga ininzi lapho. Hence we are saying msangihlanganisa nale unfinished project. Kukho unfinished project is amanzi lapha phezulu ku Region 6 zimile. How can they proceed? Dia emva kubhuti up because kukho as truck water trucks. Actually, a truck is 11,000. Menqala ukuyiva ngezi-PPP. Laba bantu barhola lama 11,000 bazaziyeka, which means la manzi angeke aphinda yenzwe sibe no communal tax because there are fat cats abathola 11,000 per truck per move one. Ana infrastructure yamanzi izoba okay. I-brothers yethu sitya kukho i-fronting sifronta ngazo. Ningazodlala ngathi sikhulile madoda. Since sithukile kusekho gravity train it still continues from back to west. Ay madoda kanimeni. Ndibuye ndize kweyiphi. Always insufficient budget and nkulunkulu. I can speak up our budget. The project it is in planning stage and good people did in the Ward 6. You are next door, Masia Orange Farm. The project is a pass 2011, each and every financial year. Which means, kuchongo abantu. Eze to the half. Zipelela half. Still, we are planning 5 years again to finish that project. It's unethical. It's unethical. You are parliament portfolio committees. Tifunu kuyazi etlek nani. Niyawaza njani umsebenzi wenu? Ngoba futhi ukuthi nichongeza IDP. Is this IDP? This has been delivered or not? Ngoba sizenze priorities. Each and every year ne IDP. And now those things are happening on the ground. Or you are just seated there in the offices. And if you just EP report, comrade, EP report, report sharp, you submit it. And you don't go on the ground and see whether is that true reflection. I'm kanimeni madoda. Hi. County these project reports and you could measurable, reliable, and achievable. You and the land. Is a good you call. You see, it's measurable, it's achievable, and what? And reliable. Whose business in there to put you up? This is irony, Matota. Okay. This is irony. We mean the next. This is what we back here. In conclusion, delays of approving project. Delays. Nitata mitigation. Hey, we are looking at you as hawks. Mitigation till when? Kunini delay. Titatile. Kunini suku planning and design session. Those are the delaying tactics. Nisa mitigate nangoku. Oh, sinichongi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, ikama ngumaiki kanompondo.
What?
Ngumaiki kanompondo. No horns. Geen horns in Afrikaans.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Number 5.
Good morning, everybody. Is the mic on? Oh, now I'm on. Sanbonan, good morning, leadership. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Thabiso Majwe. I'm the chairperson and founder of an NPO called Finetown Movement Response Team. Thank you for having such a meeting, leadership. And another question that I would just like to raise, Ugote. We as the leaders on the ground, sometimes the message is not conveyed properly. Me saying that is, I'm with the Ward Committee of Infrastructure in Tatebegi Shongwe, and he was not notified about this meeting. So this morning when I asked him, are you aware that there's a meeting that is happening in Civic Center, and he was not aware. But he's a Ward Committee member of this portfolio. So I don't know how these messages are conveyed through the councillor and through the councillor to the Ward Committees, but he was not aware. And that's a bit of a shocking to me. And another thing, leaderships, that we should be aware and we should know. You know, we used to have these meetings before, and these meetings used to be fruitful and beautiful because there was honesty and truth. The reason why you see so many people now are holding notebooks and laptops is because they want to note everything that the leadership in the front is saying, because of honesty and truth is no more there. So we need to quote you down every time you speak, which was not like that before, which is a bit of a disgrace nowadays, that we should have meetings like this of forward planning, but we should always now hold you accountable and take notes in terms of when the leadership is speaking. I'm looking at the annuals report. We've been having a project that has been running over 3 years now in Finetown. Wilson and Simmons Street has been, you know, I don't know for how long, as I'm saying, over 3 years now. There's a project that is happening right now. And I was hoping that I'm gonna see Finetown on this agenda, but I don't see it. So I don't know if this is another, you know, project that has been done privately, or the Department of Legislature and the Community of Property Management, do they know about this project that has been happening over 3 years? We are already doing our CBP planning. You know, it's like everything has been forgotten from the previous IDP, the Integrated Development Plan. But we are already on the CBP, which is happening again. We're supposed to be jotting down things that we want to be on the IDP, but yet the last year's IDPs was not fulfilled. We are talking about accountability here. I was hoping, or maybe I want maybe the next, maybe these annual report planning must have accountability planning, whereby you leaders should be holding people accountable. Because I am not talking about only my community. I'm sure most of these people who are sitting here, they are stakeholders and community leaders who are aware of such projects that are happening in their communities, but no accountability has been taken forth. But we are busy with annual reports. We are busy with CBPs, we are busy with IDPs, where these things are not fulfilled. And I'm asking myself, is there accountability that has been taken by the leadership? Is there a follow-up according to these projects that are happening in our community? We cannot have a street which is not longer than 1 kilometer that has been happening over 3 years in Finetown. As I'm speaking right now, there's water all over. Kids are playing in sewage water because of the roads that had been graded, but they said they are fixing the street. Now I'm asking myself, where is the leadership of the infrastructure? If this project can take 3 years, what about other communities? And that's not just only the project that I'm talking about, there's many more. But now this is one which has affected us in a very bad way, and we've been talking about it, but no action has been done. And I am asking, and I'm pleading to the leadership, can we stop all these things, but just to take accountability? Maybe then you guys would come through here and we won't be holding notebooks to note you down and jot you. Maybe then honesty and integrity will be held accountable through leadership that will be sitting in that chair, and we will come here hoping and knowing that the leadership that is representing us, they will come and give us a feedback and an honesty, but most of all, an accountability.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. At the back there, number 3. Oh, no, number 3, the yellow, the gentleman with the yellow cap. Number 6. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair, for giving me the chance to speak. My name is Paul Mteto. I'm from Randfontein in Muhlakeng. I want to talk about the Randfontein clinic. It's a community health center, actually. We call it a mini clinic. You'll be surprised why I'm saying Randfontein Clinic. It has been under construction for more than 6 years now. Its inception was in 2019, in December, and it was supposed to run up until 2021. For only 2 years, 24 months. It was given 24 months. So, according to my understanding, the procurement process needs to be given attention from its inception to the end, right? Just like when you're looking for a bus driver for your child at home, you make sure that your bus driver takes your child from home to school, right? That's your responsibility, and that's the bus driver's responsibility, right? The child doesn't know, doesn't understand the nitty-gritties, but knows that he has to be at school. He or she has to be at school. We are those people now, the community. It's you, the DID, and the service providers. You give the service provider a work to do so that we can have a clinic in our township. But up until now, that clinic I'm talking about, I don't know how far is it to be done, but it has been long overdue now. So on this account, who's responsible? Who should we hold accountable? Let's be honest here with one another. There's kickbacks here that we know about. And then when you are giving your reports here now, we just saw that you're receiving clean audits all the time, but kickbacks are happening. The projects are not getting finished. The people are frustrated. We have small clinic in our township. Where should you go? Whenever our grandparents and our parents at home, and including us, when we get sick, we have to go far. We have to go travel to Leratong, whereas the project was was funded to be finished in our township. So in that instance, who should we blame? The MEC was there in our township. I don't remember very well, but it was maybe around March, April, the MEC of Infrastructure. She gave us her word that by the end of July, the clinic will be operational. But up to this date, nothing is happening. So please assist us. Please assist us. Let's not beat around the bush here. Let's not play with one another. Please give us solid answers on at least tell us what's happening. Where are we with that project? And another thing also, I heard you talking about West Rand Mega Park project. I have no idea about that Mega Park project. Where is it? Because I reside in West Rand in Muhlaking. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to give over to the chairperson of the Infrastructure Development Committee, who will respond to questions that is pertaining to the committee, the portfolio committee, and then I will give after that over to GDID, and then to GIFA. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. Maybe I must just deal with few issues before we give over to the department to respond. That one, government has 3 spheres of government, which is national, province, and local, what we call council or municipality. And who are we? Maybe I must explain again. We are an oversight committee on the Department of Infrastructure Development and Property Management. The report presented here today in front of you, it's an annual report of the Department of Infrastructure Development and Property Management. And they are reporting on the work that they have done in the previous years. So having explained the 3 spheres of government, there are people here who have asked questions in related to the report and in related to the department. But there are people who have also raised comments and questions in relation to the municipality. And unfortunately, we are not in that space. There are people who have also raised issues in relation to human settlements, for example. And this department is also not in the same space. So they are here as infrastructure development, and the report that they've given to you is the work that they've done in the previous financial year. Why somebody says the auditor may have not allowed such a report to come to the community. It may be a view and it may be correct, but reality, before we even come to you, we also do our own work on site. That is why I explained earlier that the questions that they were responding to here are questions that we sent to them when we were doing our own analysis. That's one. But two, just yesterday, which is very good, it's not far. Just yesterday, we had a meeting with the Auditor General so that we get to understand what is happening. And I can safely tell you that the auditor is also aware of what is happening, and the report that is given to you is not far from what the AG office would have presented to us. So I thought I must just clarify those things. We are an oversight committee. We are not a department. That's point number one. And we come from the Gauteng province, not municipality, and we don't also come from national. So issues that we are dealing with must be based on what the infrastructure development is saying and based on what you are asking. So people who have asked questions in the department, I mean, there were questions that are questioning the percentages, but they are linked to the report. So those are questions that they will respond. But surely, I doubt they will be able to respond on the water that are running across our wards, because that is now in municipality space. And even if it was a provincial space, they are not a water department, but just infrastructure development and property management. So I thought I must explain that. But also, the same government also has 3 arms of states. The 3 arms now will be parliament, will be executive, and will be judiciary. So we are also not part of the executive. None amongst us here is an MEC or works for Department of Infrastructure, but we belong to the parliament, which is now the legislature. So if we can understand those differences, we will be able to move forward. All those questions that would have been raised that are not linked to the infrastructure, we will, however, take them to the relevant committees. Because when you ask something that is linked to human settlements, then we must link it to the Committee of Human Settlements so that they come and do their own investigation. The only good thing is that questions that are linked to the municipality, the MEC is also the MEC of COGTA. So it will be easy for him to follow through. But today here, we are dealing with issues related to infrastructure development and property management, and also issues that are related to the annual report that they have presented. So I thought I must just make those clear, and we can then send back to you, Chief Justice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. I note your end. Let me just endorse what the Chairperson is saying. As a portfolio committee, we empathize. We do not come with blinkers. As the Chair has said, we listen, we take note of what you are saying, whether it be for the municipality. Some of you spoke about the IDP, and we know the IDP is a major challenge. And I think, an education and an awareness program needs to go far and wide to get public participation, our people involved in the IDP process. So it's important that we as a portfolio committee come here and we deal with the issue of the department, because this is the department GDID that we oversee, and also GIFA. And one of you have candidly said and strongly said we must hold them accountable. And we do hold them accountable. And that's why we bring them here to you as the communities and the citizens, so that you can ask them questions. We ask them questions, but you can also ask them questions. So I'm going to give over now to the department to answer the questions. I don't want to go through the list. I think you have noted. Is that right? And then we will take it to Chivat. Over to you, please. Thank you so much. Who's going to answer? Mike, oh, you're going to be there. Can we have some microphones, please, Kaya, or sound people? Thank you so much. Here in front.
Honorable Chairperson and honorable member for the committee, members of the community at large, and my colleagues, greetings to you all. My name is Magwena Slepe from DID. We're going to spread the questions. There are questions on health facilities, and I'm going to ask Ntate Tshwaro to start with those, and then questions on EPWP. Desvina to assist with those, and any...
Mr. Slepe, thank you. Indulge me for a moment. Can you all hear Mr. Slepe? Is that clear? Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
And then as well, to ask the Chief Director Supply Chain to as well address the matters in that regard, and then we'll follow them, and then I'll take the last batch. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Slepe. Please come and face, maybe just, yeah, then we face the people. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thanks. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, and greetings to the community of Lenasia. There was, I think I'm going to talk to JFPL, Johannesburg Forensic Pathology. There was an assertion that what we are reporting is not the truth. That project is not sitting at 94%. And we are told that the project is approximately sitting at 63%. But I want to say the 94% is correct, and is in relation to the contractor scope of work. And that will then exclude any additional work that was triggered by the requirements from the city of Johannesburg, and that will be treated separately. Because, and why I'm saying that, because the
Sorry, sir.
additional...
Our recording just said you must introduce yourself. Introduce for recording purposes, please. Thanks.
Well, apologies for that. My name is Tshwaro Musimanagape from Department of Infrastructure. We are responsible for implementation of health infrastructure projects on behalf of Department of Health. And JFPL is one of the projects that we are implementing on behalf of Department of Health. Now, okay, as I've said earlier, the 94% that we have reported is not misleading, is the correct percentage based on the contractor scope of work. There was
Can we quickly get another mic? Thank you.
There was another concern on Renfontaine to say the project has been on implementation for the past 6 years, and it was supposed to have been completed in 2021. And I want to agree with the speaker to say, yes, indeed, as the department, we agree and we accept that there were delays in that project. However, we also want to present maybe to the community to say, yes, indeed, there were challenges queuing from the contractor as performance and cash flow, which the department has been dealing with. I think the community of Renfontaine, to be precise, they are aware that there were stops and go on that particular project due to payment issues coming from the Department of Health. And as such, there were suspension of services or works on that side. And that has started, I think, in 2024, December, and we came back around in January when we opened, and the site was closed again, and it was opened in June, the 3rd of June this year. Subsequent to that, there was another site closure due to payments. What is happening on that site? The work that we are currently doing there is done by the subcontractors, right? And because now the contract is out of date, in terms of the contract, the department has to apply penalties. And that is what we are doing. We are applying penalties. Now, the issue here is that the subcontractors are saying, we cannot do work, and instead of paying us, then you apply penalties, which means you are not going to be paid for the work done, right? What we have done as the department, we have then agreed with the subcontractors. We have looked We have made a submission to BAC to waiver penalties to the final account so that that doesn't then affect the local subcontractors. And that has been approved last week. We are then hoping that the local subcontractor will then agree to come back to site to start the work. And that will then mean that we'll have to request the contractor to submit a revised program that will then indicate to us to say when that project can be completed. But I think everyone is aware there is a PSC, and some of these issues were discussed at the level of the PSC. Thank you.
Thanks, my colleague, Chairperson and Chair of Chairs, MEC Mama Wolo, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Khabu Sibina. I'm doing EPWP in the province of Gauteng, working with municipalities and all the departments in the province of Gauteng. 3.5 is not enough, and we're quite aware. I think that's the question when we are in community engagement. We are always asked to increase the payment. So this amount, Chair, and our members is not a thumbsuck. I think we must understand. The chairs talk about the three spheres, national, province, and municipalities. This amount is discussed at NETLEC. NETLEC is a structure where we've got business, the private sectors, the pastors, and even the union. I think we are quite aware that our economy is not doing well. So in EPWP, we are always balancing the numbers. I just want to be practical. If I'm given an amount of 10,000 to create jobs, and I'm paying 3.5, obviously that 10,000 will give me 3 work opportunities. 3 people will be employed by that 10,000. Then if I give that 10,000 to one person, so we're going to have a problem in Gauteng. So EPWP is a 5-year program. Nationally from 2024, we are given a number of 5 million to create until 2029. It's a contribution by all provinces, all 9 provinces, and as Gauteng, our contribution is about 500,000 in the whole 5 years. So we've got a challenge here because NETLEC currently, they've indicated that please try to pay a minimum of 127. That's the minimum. And other provinces are sticking to that minimum. If you calculate that minimum, 127, a month, it will give you 2.5. That's the amount other provinces are paying. So since in Gauteng, we've been trying to adjust based on the concern we are receiving from the communities. That is why we're paying 3.5. And that 3.5 is not a solution. Because when we advertise EPWP opportunities, we are seeing people running 5 coming to Gauteng. What I want to throw it back to you, that we answer the issues we are battling with. But we want to meet the numbers. The minister is quite aware. They are busy discussing the issue of the stipend. But lastly, Chair, EPWP, we are not encouraging people to work for EPWP forever. Because even national, they've indicated that when you increase the stipend, people then no longer apply for permanent opportunities in other sectors. Then that's why we see people protesting and wanting to stay in EPWP project forever. We want to graduate people into permanent work opportunities so that people who are currently not working in communities can be given those opportunities. I think I've covered all the issues related to the salary. We're quite aware, even us, I think, it's giving us some sleepless nights. Thanks very much, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Silepe.
Good afternoon, Chair of Chairs, Chair of the Portfolio Committee members, MEC, colleagues, and all members of the community. My name is Tunzuka Mahumani. I am the head of SCM. I'm here to respond to the question that was asked in regard of achievement of the percentage that we should achieve for military veterans. Indeed, per our report, where the variance of 1.95% of underachievement, this is due to the fact that in most of our tenders, some of the military veterans do not meet the criteria which we set, but as well following the processes that we have. The challenge as well is mitigated because of the following. One, the requirement of military veteran in terms of our reporting is that the company must be 50 veterans that are below 51%, but we can't report it. So the requirement of the report requires 51%. Number two is that in terms of force numbers, and we've engaged the Department of Military Veterans for the list of military veterans that have force numbers, and we're battling to get that. Number three, it's because, as your question, children of military veterans are not and beneficiaries of military veterans are not considered to be military veterans when you look at supply chain, because you need a person with a force number. But I'm saying if there's a military veteran, people that you know, to the person who has asked the question, you can come to me, because what we are doing as a department as well is to get informal training so that people can comply with all requirements that are needed to ensure that they have SARS, they have CIDB and all these things. So we are trying our best and we want to ensure that we meet the requirements. Thank you very much, Chair.
Before you, okay.
My name is Tsunzuka Mahumani. Yes.
Before you take over, Mr. Lepe, are you finished, sir?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Before you take over, I think there's 3-4 questions I want you to take note that I made a note. I don't want us to leave here and the questions are not answered. Good afternoon, MEC. I did not greet you here. Thank you so much. So the issue of repurpose of buildings, I think that one must be. The issue of military veterans, you dealt with that one, right? Okay. The issue of Fine Town. Please.
Fine Town.
The project that has been for 3 years, that's nothing.
It's a project. It's actually the project of the road, I think, from the speaker, but it's not, it's a COJ project, as far as I've heard.
Maybe just mention it and then.
I stand to be corrected, but from the speaker, I think it was from here, it's a road project that is being done, which is implemented by JRA. We are not doing roads, or it might be implemented by Department of Roads and Transport. Okay. It's not our responsibility. Thanks.
Thanks. Did you respond to Randfontein? Yeah, you did. Randfontein, you did, yeah. You did. Thank you, Mr. Selepe. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, Chair. Greetings once more, Chair of Chairs, Portfolio Committee Chair, MEC. My name is Magwena Sleb. There was a question that was asked around hijacked buildings. As you'd remember, Chair, around, I think it was April this year, the Premier, in collaboration with the municipalities or executive mayors, launched a program where, among others, the municipalities, police units, or the police units or law enforcement are allowed to work across the boundaries of the province. Now, among other things linked to that, there's a collaborative platform where, through IGR, all law enforcement, all municipalities, and the province, they're working together around issues of law enforcement, and included in that, there are issues that are being addressed in terms of land invasion, in terms of buildings that are hijacked. And these activities are being monitored on a continuous basis, and there are structures, there are legal units working together to ensure that all necessary legal actions can be taken to address that. So the reason for this integration is to ensure that when you impact one area, you don't have these people moving to other areas. So as soon as progress is made, impact will begin to be seen, and I believe it will be a more visible impact. There was a question as well about Wi-Fi in the schools. As much as we do infrastructure, we don't get involved in the rollout of Wi-Fi or ICT in the schools. But given that we are working with GDE, we are aware that there are programs that they are running in that regard, but they are better positioned to can respond competently in that area. There was issue about people being left out in participation in the implementation of Simunye School, whilst they've participated in the facilitation of the land. I would want everybody to be aware that in government, you remember we do public procurement, which is different to private sector procurement. When I do anything to do with my own house, I can go and pick whoever I like or whoever I prefer and ask them to do that building. But when we do public infrastructure through public money, we do public procurement, which requires that we go through open tender or open procurement processes. So that is how that process gets followed until the service provider is appointed. So as a result, we can't just say because you have been part of certain processes, automatically then you are part of the process going forward. I'm going to move. There's a question that was asked, I think, about Beggersdal percentage, where there's a question around, I think they said it's supposed to be 72% instead of 98%. Okay, the issue of measuring project progress is not something that you can just look and say is so much. You have to be basing your assessment on the final details on the project in terms of what is in the bills of quantities, what is in the drawings. And in terms of us, Chair, we have teams of professionals that measure the particular work and to ensure that as the professionals, they advise us that you have moved so much and you are at this particular stage. So that is very important. And in some instances, generally what I've observed, and even sometimes in the department, that can happen, where you find that people who have not seen the amount of work that goes in terms of the earthworks, any works that go underground, they sometimes assume that the works start with what you can see above ground. But whilst there's a lot of work that goes underground. I've spoken to the issue of the hijacked buildings. There was an issue that was raised about the schools or the facilities that are decommissioned. I think the question is two-faced. There's the aspect that talks about the processes of accessing that information or accessing those facilities, saying that it's too bureaucratic. Particularly with regard to schools, even when they are decommissioned, GDE remains an interested party because the population patterns in the community, they are not stagnant. As much as the school might have not been necessary, might have been decommissioned in the past years, somewhere down the line, there might be a need. So they put conditions that as much as we decommission this school, it cannot just, you can't go out and say you make it available for people to use it, so if maybe for 100 years. If you do anything, there will be limited times within which you must give conditions and notice and so on. So because of all those processes, when people apply, there are procedures that must be followed. And I agree, bureaucracy is one aspect that can always be improved, and we must always commit to improve in that area, and we must make efforts to always improve. In that regard, I agree, but I just as well want to make it clear that the process itself, it needs quite a number of consultations to ensure that there's compliance in dealing with that. With regard to, as well, the information, from time to time people do approach the department and ask for information about facilities that are available. The department can look into the issue of the viability of making the information available and the circumstances under which and the structure that can be followed to deal with that. And I would prefer that, Chair, we leave that for a thought process by the department. And Chair, as well, I think one of the speakers said they are aware that there are kickbacks in certain areas. And you know, if people are aware of any criminality, it's very important. They must not wait for the commission. They must report it. It's very, very important that it gets reported. Chair, to the best of my understanding, I think I've covered all the questions that were asked. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Selepe. I'm going to give over to, before, Chifa? Is Chifa going to answer? Thank you so much.
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning to all honorable members, the MEC of DID and colleagues, and the community of Lenasia. My name is Opa Siabi. I come from Jifa. There are three questions that were posed to Jifa. The first one was, does Jifa support what the speaker called as industrial infrastructure? The answer is a big yes. We do that. We work very close with the Department of Economic Development in the province. Lewo touched on a project in at the airport. The IDZ there. We have two projects there. One is implementation. The General Mention President is the first one that is now currently in implementation. The second one is the one that he talked about that we went to the market early this year or late last year, where we released the project to the market where we're looking for developers to invest in the SEZ. He also spoke about what is happening on solar at Roslyn at the AIDC. So we do work with in that space. That's actually the more easier space, because normally you deal with private to private, where investors invest their own money. There's no government money in those spaces. Government just create the environment for investors to be able to invest their money in that space. So we do that. And maybe let me touch also that the element on the project in the Western Mega Park, what we call the Protea Industrial Park. It's on the N12. Somebody said he hasn't seen that project. It's on the N12. When you pass those two South Garage, on your left going towards Western area, it's on the left. And that is also what I call a private to private. There's no government money there. So there's no tenders there. It's just a case where, as a government, we created an environment for industrialize that park. And that's what is happening in that area. Another question talks to us that Makoya touched on the issue of Wi-Fi in schools, what you call digital space. We as well work with Department of eGov in the province around the GBN. So we were involved in that space when we were doing phase 2 of the GBN. So we did work with in that space as well. But the Department of eGov led that project, not Jifa. So we always support departments or what you call project owners in implementation and raising funding for these projects. The last one, Chair, I think you touched on it, is the issue of percentage spending. It's an AG report. Somebody says that he doesn't believe the figure, and really, I cannot argue that point, except that if the speaker has got issue with that, he can really look at the audit report or engage the Auditor General in the country. They will really be the one that can be able to audit and confirm those figures. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mr. Lepe, are we good now? Ne? We are covered. Can I give over back to the chairperson, Honorable Tulani? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to the department and the stakeholders who participated in the engagement. What I can tell you, colleagues, especially stakeholders, even us would always want to differ with the department when they report on percentages and numbers. But we are not technical, so once they explain with their technical explanation, we are left wanting, because we use our eyes mainly to want to deal with technical things, and sometimes it's difficult. But it's like that. When we deal with issues of accountability, we become emotional, and sometimes we want more correctness that will make us feel better. That's what we'll always say to the department. When they do something good, we would say, why don't you do good in everything that you are doing? Why do you do good here? because it makes us believe that things are doable, but people can fail in certain instances. And maybe also request the stakeholders that it's very important that those of you in the social media follows the department, so that every now and then when we engage, at least you are well abreast of what they are doing. Sometimes I'll just send them a question because of seeing their status on Instagram, and it will aggravate me, and I'll write and ask, why are you saying it's 64% there when we are still showing a land that is not worked? And when they explain, they will tell you that no, the construction site is at 70%. The land that you are seeing, it's landscaping. So we are going to plant grass once the school is completed. So it makes us, yes, it makes us different in terms of understanding these things. But we love the spirit of engagement. It is the only thing that the legislature is mandated for, that we make sure that whatever that the department is doing, we keep you abreast as stakeholders, and it's correct, we're elected by you. That is why each and every now and then we must come back and report on the work that we are doing in terms of doing oversight over the department. We are now supposed to be getting the next presentation, which speaks to 5 projects. But because, if you can look at our program, we're supposed to finish at 1:27. We don't have a problem, it's still 1, we still have about that 27 minutes, but we want to check with the House, because sometimes when we report on projects, you find that the people in the House have dealt with all their issues, and we are now wasting their time. So we want to ask you, you will advise us, if there are stakeholders from Nkululeko Yesizwe Primary School here, if there are stakeholders from Lenesia Secondary School here, if there are stakeholders from Athlone Girls High, stakeholders from Renfontaine, I think I heard that one, but we have spoken to the issue already, and stakeholders from the forensic pathology who are here, and we have already spoken on these issues. So I just want to get a guidance from you, because as correctly said, we are here to engage with you and to make sure that you have an engagement with the department. Do you still want these reports presented now here, and then we engage, or you are fine with what would have been discussed in the annual report? I know the annual report might have not spoken to Nkululeko Yesizwe specifically, might also have not spoken to Lenesia Secondary specifically, inclusive of Athlone Girls, but it did speak to the Ranfontein Community Healthcare, and it did speak to the Johannesburg Pathology, Forensic Pathology. So can I be guided, colleagues, if you want us to proceed, do we proceed presenting 5, or we only present the 3 that were not captured by the annual report, or we don't report because stakeholders are not here from these 3 areas? But if you want us to proceed, we can quickly do so. Can I just get one person who will speak on this issue, and then we will proceed? Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm Mr. Makita, Principal of Nkululeko. Stakeholders are here. Can you please touch that?
Thank you. In Nkululeko we are doing. Is Lenesia here? Okay, maybe let's do that. Is Lenesia Secondary stakeholders here? So we'll take 3. No, come move mic me abule.
Mela.
Dumelang.
Lebitso ke Minki Seleke. Ke tswa ko Randwest City Local Municipality. I'm so sorry gore ke tlo boela ko morago, because when we came due to the mathata a tsela le di traffic di re emisitse, we arrived late here. Hence we could not hear the presentation ya Randfontein Health Community Health Center. So ne re tlo kopa gore, please, 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 I'm saying this because I'm one of the ward committee members, Geheda Healthy, and then I'm also a chair ya clinic committee, Komohlakeng Health Center. So we would like or request, please, please, gore, let's have a presentation so that we should go out here having the full information about the whereabouts of Mohlakeng. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama, for that. So, colleagues, can I please take the department? It's going to give us presentation on Nkululeko, give us a presentation on Lenesia Secondary School, and give us a presentation on Randfontein Community Health Care. So those three presentations. Who's presenting in Tateslep? You can come to the front. Please introduce yourself to the stakeholders so that they know. He's doing the Nkululeko. Who will do the Lenesia? Okay, thank you. Who is doing Randfontein? Thank you very much, thank you. Can just get ready to yourself as he presents. I've given him 4 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning, thank you, Chair. Good morning to honorable members, MEC, good morning. And then to the colleagues as well, good morning, as well as the members of the community of Lenesia. My name is Richard Chawalala. I'm the project manager for Nkululeko Yosiso Primary School. I will be taking you through Nkululeko Yosiso Primary School in terms of the progress. I've been given 3 minutes or 4 minutes. I will try to be brief. And then in terms of Nkululeko Yosiso Primary School, the project was at construction where the contractor was appointed, the name of the contractor QDS project. And then the project was for, as we're all aware that currently the school is utilizing the mobile classes. So the project in terms of the scope was to do renovation for the admin block, as well as the existing 4 classroom, as well as the new 40 classroom, which includes the nutrition center, as well as the construction of the new hall. And then in terms of the progress where we are currently, I will start with the site was handed over on the 21st of September 2021, and it was supposed to be completed on the 4th of August 2022. But however, it was not completed due to the challenges that we're facing with regard to the project stoppages as well as disruption on site. And then the contractor was afforded the opportunity in terms of the extension of time where it was supposed to be completed on the 24th, on the 18th of June last year. And then it didn't happen, and then due to underperformance from the contractor, then the department ended up terminating the contractor as well as terminating the professional service provider in terms of non-performance as well. The project was, in terms of contract amount, it was 135 million. And then when it was terminated, it was at 56% in terms of the progress. So currently, what happened after termination, the department then assessed the work that needed to be done to complete the project. And that exercise has been done. What is outstanding is in terms of determining the project cost so that we can be able to go to the Department of Education to get funding for that. And then the professional service providers that are appointed to replace the terminated ones, they will do a procurement documentation where we can be able to appoint the contractor for a completion contract. So we will have a full timelines once the professional service provider conclude the procurement documentation in terms of the expected date when the contractor will be appointed to finish the project. I didn't go through much into details because the project has got a lot of information due to the time that has been.
Thank you very much. Can we get the Lenesia secondary presentation?
Okay, good afternoon, Chair, MEC, Portfolio Committee, and colleagues of Lenasia. My name is Ms. Jay Singh, and I was the project manager for Lenasia Secondary School. The project was started in July of 2024, and we completed the project in November 2024. We've done some refurbishments in terms of identified classrooms. We've done replacement of some ceilings, but the core of the work was the repair to the structural cracks and structural repairs, joint repairs, concrete cracks. We've replaced some toilets, urinals, we did some bird proofing, some gutters, painting of identified roofs, soffits of the roof slabs. We removed some trees that were uplifting the concrete and the pathways. I don't know what else I need to say, but the project's been completed. It was completed before time. And in terms of EPWP, we achieved 12, we appointed 12 laborers and a CLO from the community. Is there any comments from anyone? Thank you.
It's nice that you finish before time. It's what I was saying. that when you do good, you must appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are now taking the Randfontein Healthcare. Randfontein Community Healthcare. They call them CHCs, right?
I think it will be easy. Oh, no, okay, same thing. Please push it in.
And then Anna?
Take a charge, yeah.
Is it showing?
Should.
Thanks, Chairperson, and good morning, good afternoon to you once more, and the Portfolio Committee. Good afternoon to the MEC and the community of Lenasia. I'll be presenting Randfontein. The project cost is as shown in on that slide, is 28638,263.97. The progress, we are sitting at 81% complete. The expected completion date is 12 December 2025. And in terms of the current status, the project was, the site was closed and reopened on the 15th of September 2025. Though I can also mention that what is happening now is really minimal, as we are still experiencing some challenges. The contractor is currently on penalties, and deductions are affecting the contractor's cash flow and his ability to pay local subcontractors. There's a challenge on cash flow availability from GDOH, and this is contributing to the delays in payment of the subcontractor and also affecting payments of the subcontractors. There is a process that GPT is currently busy with of budget adjustment that is being finalized, and that will be, the budget adjustment will be published on the second week of November. There's also excessive variation for the PSPs, the GIP, TKDS, Delta, which have served before the BAC, and we are waiting budget confirmation from the client before those submissions can be approved. In terms of the outstanding payments, and we're talking about the payments because that is in the main what is affecting progress on site. We have processed payment certificate number 54, which was endorsed and submitted to GDOH to generate good received, and we are still waiting for that payment. Thanks.
Thank you. My name is Lindiwe Masilela. I'll be acting on behalf of the chairperson,
by just taking questions on the presentation that was done. So by show of hands, we'll start from this side if there are questions and follow up on this side based on the 5 presentation that was done. 3, sorry, 3. Can we start with Inkululego by show of hands? If there's any question. So I guess you are satisfied. Thank you. Then Lenasia. Anyone? Any questions from Lenasia? Okay, there's a hand right there. Okay, no problem, it's fine.
Yes,
We'll go back to you. So let's start with Nkululeko. So it's one hand. I hope no one is going to be motivated after this. Thank you.
Okay, my name again is Mr. Muloi. The project manager, Mr. Richard Chabalala, emphasized the issue of Uti. The contract was terminated at something like 56%. And then from there, he says they are still going back to the department to look. Sorry. The allocation was 135 million, and then the contractor was terminated at 56%. Now, when the contract is terminated, I think somehow the money goes back to the department. Now, why is Nkululeko not continuing from, because they already appointed the consulting team. Why can't they continue with the project? Because there's that budget allocation for termination which went back to the department. Thanks.
I hope the department got that. Thank you. Can we then go to, we are fine with Lenasia. Lenasia, we are fine. CHC, there's a hand right at the back. Thank you, you can go on, Mama.
Okay, dumelang gape. Ko mohlakeng ke a bona ge gore the contractor is under penalties. Especially ke kgola gore ke the main contractor. And then ke a utla gape gore Department of Health e busy ka adjustment budget. So ke na le concern because ke a dula ko di meetings tsa di subcontractors on Tuesdays, and ko di meetings tseo tsa di subcontractors, the main contractor o dula a se teng. And how shebella bontate bale baba leng gore ke di subcontractors le basebetsi wa bona gore batho bale ba disgruntled go gore like ba go ga maoto ba itse gore ba etseng go gore like ba fedile tshepo. Because moki emintena, it cannot be 9 years kaofela ile gore CHC ya agiwa. Mare a go tlo gore gonne lenko e tswang limina. Mare ga se nnete bagolo. Ebile I'm sure gore MEC wa infrastructure o teng a kere la overseer le tla romela molaetsa. Re kopa lo romeleng ya ka gontse yana. Because motho ha a red listilwe yana. Ene go etsiwa adjustment budget. A go tlo adjustelwa yena na. A di tšhelete tseo tse di adjustiwang a di fiwa yena na. gape a tlotsa tšhelete a tsamaye a lo dula ka yone ko lekeišeneng a ba sa patale di-subcontractors because go bua nnete kwale ke a utlwa mona go bua ka 81%. 81% e setseng e le gore e completed ebile ke ele gape e setse ntse e kenya le metsi go anela. So nako e kana e senyegileng e senyega mo e leng gore e bile le sone CHC e soka e fela e setse e ntse e ba gape gore yaanong ya senyega mare ke kgale a ke re bagolo ha ya tshwana gore ntho e ka etsagala and ya ka ke dula ko di meeting tsa gona tsa di clinic tse leng gore clinic e leng gore khale e le teng ko mohlakeng CHC tla ke le bleleng bagolo ke a itse gore eng go tla to di health ha yo fana ke mosebetsi wa health but still o romeleng molaetsa ko health gore a gona nnete gore bakudi ka mo clinic e le nyane ka teng e tsang di ward tse fetang 7 ebe e le gore bonkgono bontate mogolo batho ba botlhe ba ba kulang ba fola line kontle pula ya banela and ha ba fotse line kontle pula e banela ba eme ka maoto bagolo ha ba ntse kena ka mogare di ceiling ga nne re ba suthisa re beya di topisi mo le gore metsi a wele ka mole bagolo mare a ke khole gore ke bone batho ba reng gore re ba emetse ga ba sebeletsa ba ileng gore ba phela mo situationing e yana. I mean health is one of the basic services tse tshwantseng re di fe bakudi ba rona. Go gonyane go pitlagane doctor o teng or di teng di doctor tse itere motshegare mare ka baka la pitlaganyo le ka nako e tsa masteraga ka teng batho ba le ba khole gore ba fitlhelwe motho o kgona go fitla mo ra monitor re teng fale motho o fitla mo le phakela ka 7 7 a mina go bula a re o batla gore a tswe early mare o lotswa kwale ka bo 3 a kere CHC Randfontein CHC e leng teng ele ha ine e le gore ya bereka ina re ke tswe bona ina le di consulting room tse dingata gampe mo e leng gore ba kudi ne ba ka se ke ba dula nako ka ne ba attendiwa sentle so ba golo a ke sho gore adjustment budget e ra gore ka gore ha subcontractors a le red listed or a le mo di penalties gore a gore a itse mosebetsi tshwantse a ka be a tswile go fiwa motho o mo gore mosebetsi o tswele pele because mo ke menteng 81% ena a se yona 81% ke di ba re botire 40% because kwale santse gona le mosebetsi o motona ene le batho ba ba hirileng kwale ke batho ba ileng gore ba hirile ba dula mo dintlong bana le di family tshwantse ba tlhokomela mara ha ba gole Bakolo, this cannot be correct. I think I'm covered and I submit.
Thank you, Mama. Please, the department. I see another hand, but I'm not sure. As we have, my brother, you want to speak on CHC? Okay. And there's another hand at the back there. You want to speak on CHC? That side.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And sorry, I think you irritate much. But in my concern, I have to raise them. In Randfontein, I think good a project manager. And there is that thing you go to the project in Apela December. And now they are at 81%. They are at 81%, and they say the project is open in December. And my concern is that when a project manager, can't they give us a projection? And they use these systems, the project, any project in computers, nama project software to identify what is serious is open. I mean, I don't think it's open in December. The way corner because now umama u raise ama concern serious ukuthi kunama subcontractor shell lapha. Now can we ask a project manager yenza a projection ya between now and December ngale pace ebanayo manje because I don't think there's any fast pace or medium pace enzakalayo on site. Thank you.
Ngiyabonga. There's still a hand that side. That will be our last hand. Thank you.
Sanibona nonke mphakathi waseLiniza South. Mina ngumuntu wala eLiniza South. Ngize ngabuza ubaba lapha ngaphambili la ngaphandle. Nginenkinga ngoba ngisawathi ngiyabheka yonke into ama section akhona. Kodwa kukhona iLiniza South ayikakabizwa angaze ngayibona nala emaphepheni. Sinenkinga enkulu la ngaphakathi la eLiniza South. Asinama ilona ikhansela yikho khona lana ngibonile iphuma ngemoto nabantu bangapha ngakithi la eLiniza South akekho engimbonayo ongathi uyaphakamisa athi uyakhulumela for thina la ngaphakathi eLiniza South. Sinenkinga yamasurichi, sinenkinga yeikontiri, sinenkinga enkulu kakhulu. Angazi ukuthi singayenza kanjani inkinga ekanje. Ngiyacela ukuthi nomphakathi mangabe ukhona ukwazi ukuthi silwele indaba yala ngaphakathi eLiniza South. Ngoba kukhona abanye la ngaphakathi abayibiza bayizikhulu kodwa abekho la. Ngicela ukubuza ubaba usebenza la ngaphakathi babulavers. Ngiyangambuza naye wathi yena akakwazi ukukhuluma ngoba usenzela ugovernment. So ngiyacela ukuthi wonke omunye ongaphakathi la ngaphakathi eLiniza South azame ukusincedisa naye. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Siyabonga sisi wami. I think the department can respond. Thank you. And I'm also going to hand over to the chair after the department has responded. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. And apologies, I didn't hear the last speaker, Mama Mola. I think there is a language barrier. Okay. And, there was a concern that subcontractors are dragging feet, and as such, there will be a challenge in terms of completing this project. I think earlier on, I did speak to that, to say, as the department, we are aware that there are challenges there. The subcontractors, they have raised their challenges with the department, to say, in the main, their complaint was that if we apply penalties, it means that come time of payment, whatever work that they have done will go to penalties, right? And what we have done as the department, we then did waiver of penalties, made submission for approval for waiver of penalties. That waiver was approved this week. So I think the problem it's resolved. However, the contractor is still experiencing some problems, cash flow problems due to his own whatever problems that he's experiencing. The other intervention that we are also trying to come up with as the department is to look at scope omission so that we then reduce the scope of the contractor. We appoint a service provider who will then complete such a scope. So that exercise is in progress. We should be having an outcome. We have instructed the professional team to work on the scope omission and also advise us accordingly. On the issue of the roof leaks and all that, I think that will be part of the snack list. It will be addressed at that time. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would like to respond with regard to the question that was raised for Nkululeko Yesizwe with regard to the professional team continuing. After the termination, I've indicated that the internal professionals did the assessment for the work that still needs to be done. And then after that, then the professional team take over to determine the project costing, that will have a procurement documentation so that we can be able to appoint the contractor. Because obviously, when the project has been terminated, those processes need to take place so that we can assess thoroughly what still needs to be done, and then that will lead to the new budget of the project. So I would like to assure that we didn't stop the professional team. They will determine the procurement documentation that will have timelines in terms of the replacement contractor, and then we will be able to share that with the school in terms of the project timelines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues, again, for those presentation and responses. And I am not going to waste time and request the MEC for his parting shots. MEC, over to you. Can you please avail the mic?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Let me greet the honorable members. Good afternoon, honorable members. And Kidumedi Shebadu Dilikai. Thank you, Renkile Boheng, and to all the officials, thanks for your presentations and answering of questions. So, Chair and honorable members, I just want to make a comment that I think it is clear from the reports that we still have difficulties. So, as we have said to you on several occasions that we are trying to resolve these issues, but we have not yet resolved them. So I don't want to try to say anything except that we do have difficulties, and those difficulties are not yet resolved. And we will continue to give you reports about the improvements we are trying to make. And I think it doesn't help to try to paint a picture that is not correct. The reality of the matter is we're not working the way we are supposed to be working. So I would like to say that to you, and hopefully we will see improvements because we are trying to resolve the problems that we have. Now, Ruba Dudi, I batang kwa inkablela kaspedi, but kebe krati lor kero bona kere. Di report le di kwele le di karabo tse ba di fileng empa wa o tloga go ipontšha gabotse gore mošomo ga o tšhabe diatla ka mogoswantse o tšhabe diatla ka gona le di karabo tša rena tše dingwe ke kwele le ge ke be ke tšwetše montle gore wa le di karabo tše dingwe tše re di fang ga di kgotsofatše bjalong ke no re go lena ke rawa ga gane bjalo e reng re le kgopele tshwarelo mo e leng gore ga re a ba ra fa dikarabo tše le tsogileng le tle mo le tšea leeto la go tla mo le tlo hwetša dikarabo tšeo le di nyakang bjanong I'm sure tše dingwe tša tšona le tla tloga le sena le tšona ka mokgo le kgotsofetšeng ba boletše empa le nna ke a bona gore mola le mola o ka re ditaba ga di kopane gabotse bjanong e reng ke re go lena ke re I'm sure ba bantši ba tla dumela gore ngwana phoša dira bolawe e reng re boele morago re ilo leka go kaonafatša mošomo wa rena nnete e bohloko nako e nngwe mara nnete ke nnete e reng re boele morago re ilo leka ke a tshepa gore re tla re lefa dikarabo tše di kaone ka gore le rena re ba boditše ba ba komite gore wa mathata a rena ke a mantši re a tseba re leka go bereka le ona ga ra tla re a fetša bjanong re swarileng ga gona bjalo re tla tla re lefa dikarabo tše di botse tše di kwagalang gore mošomo ya kae ba lekile empa nnete eno ba gore ditaba ga di a kopana ka mokgwa di swantšeng di kopane ka gona bjanong ke no re go lena ke re e reng re boele morago ka sepedi ba re tsebe a ena sekhurumelo le re boditše re kwele re tla re lokiša ke be ke leboga ka ona mantswe ao. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MEC. That was an honest observation, and it's what we actually need. And colleagues, we don't have bills from NCOP. We don't have bills from the province. We also don't have any petitions, but just maybe the take home for the department, issues that would have identified as you colleagues were engaging and what we think the department must focus on. One is to take corrective actions to address the 30% of targets that were not achieved. Two, to work on education projects because they are more slower than other client user departments. And we also need to put measures in place to ensure that Program 2 Public Works improves from 59% achievement rate. And on finances, we are saying overspending is uncalled for, it must stop. And we are saying the department must address the underperformance in procurement for military veterans. It can no longer be just a normal situation. As much as they say the others don't bring this compliance and that compliance, but what about those who comply? And we're sure they are in the township. I mean, we live amongst them. On EPWP, the department must monitor the quality and the sustainability of these work opportunities. And the department must work on long-term employment pathways for these beneficiaries. Well, on IDEP, we are hoping it is assisting not just for us to monitor projects, but it is also assisting us for being able to do interventions on time. So it must expand its capabilities and also be available for other departments or municipalities. And on human resource, we are saying the department must urgently address the 19% vacancy rates, especially on critical skills shortages. So that would be what we are saying the department must take home, and as we meet and as we engage, those are issues we will be doing monitoring on. And with those words, let me thank you all. Thank the MEC, thank the department, thank members, thank our staff, thank the stakeholders for making this engagement impactful. You know, when you don't ask questions and when you don't engage, it means there is no impact in the work that we are doing. But when you engage the work that we are doing, it means we are indeed touching lives as they want to raise some questions and clarities. And I want to thank you on behalf of the Portfolio Committee and the Legislature. We have now reached the conclusion of our engagement. Kaya, I don't see you, Kineilwe. Do you have any announcement? Lunch is... Okay, thank you very much. Lunch is, will be served this side. You know, last week, I attended a meeting of sports department. I think we were in Bethrams. So one colleague stands up and say, you come here with food thinking that will change our tones. And I say, I understand the emotions. And if the community says, when we come to these meetings, we must not prepare food, we'll do it. And we'll take the budget and maybe bring more water or bring more people through buses. The whole house wanted to kill the guy, to say, hey, uskatlo re buela, wena, you are just raising your voice here. Ba bangwe ba rona re tsogile ka 80 re tla mo and are soji. So ska re misrepresent. So I'm just saying it's good here that there is not even that fight. It means the work that the department is doing is seen, but is questioned so that it is done correctly and it is also done to better serve our people. Ke a le leboga ka mantswe ao, le tla tsamaya gantle. Thank you very much.